Well, hi there, pluckers. Ivor Sawfingers back with you again for hopefully another interesting little lesson for you on FBI, Classic Instrumental from the Shadows. This is part 2, where I'm going to be showing you how to play the bridge section of the song, or the middle section of the song. In part 1 we covered the intro and the verse chords, and then I showed you how to play the lead to the verses 1 and 2. Okay, so this is the bridge section set coming up now. So the chords for the bridge section comes out of verse 2, and you've got the A chord doing the usual alternating bass sort of thing. Okay, that bit we're talking about. Okay, so the first chord is E, C, F, back to E, back to C, to F, to a B7, to an E, back to the B7, to E, and then back to the A, and off into verse 3 and 4. Okay, so let's get to it. So those are the chords then to the bridge section of the song. After you've done the A, you go into that, you go into E, C, F, E, C, F, B7, E, B7, to do, back to A. Okay, got the idea? Right, now the lead bit for the bridge section, or the middle section, starts on where it goes to the E chord. Okay, it's this. Now this is the same pattern repeated many times in different places on the guitar. Okay, so once you've learnt one pattern, you've got most of it under your belt. You just got to remember where the chord is, where the position of the start note is. Okay, so we're starting on an E chord, and it's starting on the 5th string, the A string, on the 7th fret, and the riff is this. Okay, so I'm also doing it palm muted. You don't have to, but it gives you that fuddy, thick sound. Back edge of the hand here, resting on the thicker strings, somewhere near the bridge. Okay, very, very lightly, and you get this ploppy, thuddy sound. Right, so I'm starting on the 7th fret of the 5th string, the A string, 2 hits. Then I'm moving to the 6th fret of the 4th string, 2 hits. Then I'm using my pinky to go up to the 9th fret of the 4th string, the D string, 2 hits. Then take that pinky off and go back down to the 6th fret on the 4th string for 1 hit. And then finally another single hit on the 5th string, 7th fret. So you got that, and that's the basic riff throughout this section of the song. Okay, so that's the first one. That's on the E chord. Then the chord changes to C, so we start on the 8th fret of the bottom E string. But it's the same fingering in different strings. Okay, so you've got the 8th fret of the bottom E, 7th fret of the 5th, 10th fret of the 5th, and then single on the 7th fret of the 5th, and a single on the 8th fret of the bottom E. So you've got okay, then we move it to the starting note is the 8th fret of the 5th string, so you just move the last one down a string, 8th fret of the 5th string to the 7th fret of the 4th string to the 10th fret of the 4th string, back to the 7th fret of the 4th for a single, and the 8th fret of the 5th for a single. So 3 together. and then the next one is the first one that we played, starting on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So you just move that one down one. Okay, so that's the first 4. Okay, so here we go, start again, first 4. Alright, then we go back to the 8th fret of the bottom E string again, then the 8th fret of the 5th string. Okay, now this time it changes. Okay, so you go the 8th fret, the one you did on the 8th fret of the bottom E, 8 on the bottom E to 7 on the 5 to 10 on the 5. Then move it all down a string, starting on the 8th fret of the 5th string. Now this time we go to the 7th fret of the bottom E string. Okay. Right, so that's 7 on the bottom E, 6 on the 5th, 9 on the 5th, single on the 6th of the 5th to a single on the bottom E string 7. Right. Right. So far, from the beginning. Here we go. That's as far as we've got. Then we change it. We've got a little bit of a change now. We do this. So it's 2 hits on the 7th fret of the 5th string. Then we go down to the 5th fret of the 5th string for a single. And then the 6th fret of the 5th string for a single. And then back to the 7th fret on the 5th string for a single. Right? Right, at that point we go back to the 7th fret of the bottom E string. That one again, so it's 7th fret of the bottom E, twice, 6th fret of the 5th string, and the 9th fret of the 5th string as well. Alright, and then finally we've got a rundown, starting on the 7th fret of the 5th string. Right, or just one note on each if you want, whichever you feel best with. Okay, and that's 7 on the 5th, 5th fret of the 5th, 3rd fret of the 5th, 2nd fret of the 5th, open 5th. Right. Okay, so the whole thing. Okay, a bit of a mind blower, but once you get into it, it's fairly straightforward. Okay, so we're starting on the E chord, which is the 7th fret of the 5th string. Okay, so here we go. 8th fret of the bottom E, 8th fret of the 5th string, 7th fret of the 5th string, 8th fret of the bottom E, 8th fret of the 5th, 7th fret of the bottom E, little riff, 7th fret of the bottom E, run down. Okay, got the idea. Well then, boys and girls, after we've gone through the bridge section, the middle section of the song, we're ended up with going into verse 3 and verse 4. Now then, verse 3 I played as same as verse 1, but in a lower octave. Okay, so instead of playing up here on the 5th and 7th fret area, we're right down at the beginning of the nut here. Okay, so when you come out of the bridge section, the rhythm guitar, the backing guitar, is doing the usual sort of alternative bass, sort of A chord. Okay, and it does that for a couple of bars, and then we go into the lead work for the lower octave bits on verse 3. Underneath the verses, verse 3 and verse 4 play exactly the same as the rhythm guitar in verses 1 and 2, which is the prolonged A chord with the bouncing bass, which goes on for quite a long time, and then the D chord for a bar and the E chord for a bar at the end of the bouncing bass bit on the A chord. Okay, so I won't show you that again because it's exactly the same rhythm and timing and everything that's in verse 1 and 2. So let's get to the lower octave version of the verse, okay, for verse 3. Okay, so it starts off with that. So what we're doing there, so we play the open A string, and then we fret the 3rd fret of the A string, then we play the 2nd on the 4th. Alright? The next bit is open A string, open D string, 3rd on the 5th, open 5th. So you've got, okay, got that, and we play that sequence twice. Okay, so the next bit is this. Okay, what am I doing there? So it's an open A again, 5th string, to the 3rd fret on the 5th string. Then we go to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, the G string. Then we play an open 3rd string. Then we play a 2nd on the 4th string and an open 4th string. Right, so it's got that. Now we put those bits together and we end up with this. Okay, that's as far as we've got. Next phrase is this. So that's 3rd fret of the 5th string, open 4th, then we play the 4th string open but hammer into the 2nd fret on the 4th string. So you got, then we hit that note again, the 2nd on the 4th, so there's 2 hits on that one, right, so it's that. Then we play the open 4th, 3rd on the 5th, open A string, 5th string. So that whole phrase is the whole lot together. Okay, that's as far as we've got. Right then, and for the final part of verse 3, we play this. So what am I playing there? So I'm playing an open A string, 3rd on the 5th, open 4th, 2nd on the 4th, open 4th, 3rd on the 5th, open 5th, 3rd on the 5th, open 4th, 2nd on the 4th, open 4th, 3rd on the 5th, open 5th, a bend on the 3rd fret of the bottom E string, open A string, 5th string, and then you finish off with open bottom E string, 3rd on the bottom E, open A string. Okay, so to put that in context, we'll go through the whole thing. Okay, verse 3. Okay, at that point the rhythm comes to this alternating bass bit again, and then you go off into verse 4. Now you could play that exactly the same as verse 3, or you could play again the higher octave version. I did that on my playthrough. I went back up and played the higher version. When you come to the end of the 4th verse, you repeat the bridge section, middle section of the song again. As you've already done it, you play it again. You come out of the final bridge section and you repeat whichever version of the verse you like, the lower one or the higher one. And at the end of it, you just repeat that last line where it comes out of the just repeat that last line, the bottom E string open, 3rd on the bottom E, and then the open A string. Just keep repeating that 3 or 4 times and then it finishes, okay? It fades out on the original obviously, but in my version it finished on about the 3rd or 4th time I did it, so. Everybody stops on that one. So there you go, boys and girls, my take on FBI from the Shadows. Hopefully makes sense to you, and I hope to see you in whatever I play next. Bye for now.